How's it going, folks? Excuse the little guitar intro. Let me put that down. Appreciate you for joining me. My name's Brian. I'm here in Denver, and I'm just wanted to do another quick one here on Rocky Mountain Proof. Rocky Mountain of Evidence, kind of follow up on another one I did about a month ago. And I found a really great shot, but it was an aerial shot from a plane, and I couldn't really, prove the elevation of the camera, even though I trust the information. It was a very highly professional, detailed shot, but it was cool. I'll kind of show you on Google Earth what it was, but it was looking over from out off of the eastern plains, looking over Pikes Peak to Crestone Peak, it was like a 100-mile shot with two 14ers, basically lined up perfectly over 100 miles, which is a lot of curvature, supposedly. And I got, a lot of comments, not a lot, but, people saying, learn how to use the height of the observer calculator and all that stuff. And I know where that is. And I think this kind of mountain peak kind of proof is more of a force the line kind of proof. So it's kind of back engineering that whole thing, I think. Because we know how far, we don't have to know how far away things are. We can map them out. We can find them and map them. So we know that this is 59 miles, 35, 76, etc. Oh, it's starting to get stormy outside here. So yeah, I like this kind of proof because it's a point A, point B, something in between, and then point C kind of out on the horizon, or another horizon. All these peaks can be considered their own little horizons, and we know how far away they are. So we can line them up, and if they line up, being me, point A, point B in between, and point C out in the distance, then, I don't know, I think we got a line, like a straight line, as in flat. So let's go here real quick. We'll look at Google Earth. Ba-ba-da. Boy, did I have fun, right? Look at all those lines. Looking at these pictures. So yeah, I went online and found, some climbers and hikers' websites. Pretty serious people, and they get up there and they're actually, so I got photographs, taken from people with their feet on the ground on top of these 14,000 feet peaks, which there are hundreds of here in Colorado. And they're scattered all around in clumps all across the state. So, you can get a pretty good shot from one range to the next, or, in this, what I was looking for is, a shot across a range, or, from one point over a point to another point, where we can get this sort of force the line ABC thing going. I don't know why my Google Earth has got me all tilted here. Not really sure what that's going on there. This was my original guy over here where this was the aerial shot, the plane over here looking over Pikes Peak to Crestone Peak over here, which is, the whole thing is 100 miles. And from Pikes Peak to Crestone Peak, it's like almost 70 miles. And they were pretty much lined up right with each other. You could see Crestone Peak just popping up over top of Pikes, which is a little shorter. But again, it was an aerial shot. Can't really prove the height of the camera exactly, even though I trust they said it was at 14,000 feet, and I'm sure it was very close. So anyway, I found some shots. I found a good one here from Snowmass Mountain, which is about 14,092 feet. And that panorama that we started this out with, I will show you, this is going out to, let me spin this around. Sorry, my mouse is dying because I did all this navigation around here for hours and did all these lines. But this is our Mount Powell and Eagle's Nest, which is over on the other side of Vail. So we got that line, which is like the 60-mile line, and then here we got to Gold Dust Mountain. And then this is our big long one from that shot, 76 miles to Grays and Torrey. And we'll be kind of shooting over this ridge line here, which is kind of a good waypoint to judge. It's almost midway. So we got, again, our point A, point B, point C. And if we can see them all lined up, well, maybe they are all lined up. Imagine that. So here we'll be looking off to the right to Yale Mountain and Princeton, and we'll be looking over these ridge lines here. Again, good waypoints looking over. So again, here's our A, B, C situation. I kind of tried to map, there's some mountains up here. I'm pretty sure I saw them, but whichever. We got some good ones here with Princeton and Yale, and I'm darn sure I know that those mapped out good and found them here on Google Earth. Why is that all tilted? That's weird, huh? Oh, I tell you, every time I turn around, Google Earth is doing something crazy. And then we'll go to Mount Yale, and we'll look up here to Mount Evans and across here to a couple of these peaks, just real quick. And we'll go around and look at some other stuff, just real quick like. But yeah, I had myself a good old time drawing lots of fun colored lines. Look at that, pixie sticks. Let's get out of here and get to reality. Here is reality. Eagle's nest, gold dust. So yeah, like I said, we'll be, those are the ones off to the north, to the left. Eagle's Nest and Powell, which is 59 miles, 2,320 feet of curvature. This is Gold Dust Peak, 35 miles away, so that's a little more than halfway. But these are both just over 14,000, and you can see they look pretty close. So yeah, everything's pretty lined up. So that's what we're looking for here, the whole force the line deal. So Grays and Torreys, way out there. Very distinctive peaks, and they were kind of all by themselves when I just cruised out here followed this line on Google Earth, lined this all up. They popped right up, and it became pretty obvious what I was looking at, and I was like, cool, that's Grays and Torreys way out there, because they're kind of twin pyramid peaks. And there they are, 14,300 something. One of the tallest peaks in Colorado, and it's 76 miles away. This peak here is just 14, a little under. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't annotate it here, but I mapped it out. And it's kind of the same as that ridge line with gold dust, so it's 35 miles or so, 34 miles away. So again, we're kind of a halfway point here. This ridge line, which continues down from here, this little snow line here is part of that. So that's our halfway point to Grays and Torreys. And we can see Grays and Torreys pretty good. A little blurry, but way out there, 76 miles. So let's go over here to our Princeton. Sorry about zooming like that so fast. Princeton and Yale. These were really easy to find. Yale's very distinctive, so it was easy to find on Google Earth. Princeton's pretty obvious too. So yeah, we have this, 44 miles is what, 1,290 feet. And Princeton, 51 miles is 1,734 feet of curvature. We'll look at the Earth curve calculator. Like I said, this is kind of back engineering that whole thing, because we just know where this stuff is and we can map it. This saddle ridge here is about 16.5 miles away or so, and it's about 13.5 to the top of it. And this is 14.2, and we're at 14, a little over, close to 1. And we're actually, we can see more of Mount Yale than the 700 feet of difference in elevation at the tops of these things. So we're actually looking down over this saddle from where we are, which, if it's all flat, that makes sense, right? Because we're higher than that. So, of course, we can see more of Mount Yale than the 700 feet of difference in those elevations. And then Mount Princeton over here, this ridge line's a little closer to us, so things get a little bigger as they come closer. And we're looking at these distances. This is the Maroon Bells, very famous. If you're down over here in the lake area, looking back this way, you would recognize the picture, as it is the most famous, most photographed place in the world, pretty much. But anyway, so that's about almost 14. And we're closer here, so you can see a little bit of the differences when we get close. And this is the end of that ridge line up here. But again, this is only like 10 miles away or so, 11, and this is like 15, 16, I think I said. But we're looking over this, and we can see Mount Princeton, 51 miles away. So again, this is our ABC lineup. And I kind of like those lines. Finding Mount Yale like that was pretty cool. So, you see what we're doing here? I mean, we can go to the calculator and whatever. So, I think I put this, I have it at 76 miles. I mean, basically, we could put this at 0 because... So it's 3,851 feet target hidden height, because we're taking this picture. We're just using the peaks. We don't care about anything in between, and we need 3 of them. We need an observation point, we need a peak, and then we need another peak to line up. So this curve would represent the tops of the peaks, not the ground or the sea level. I mean, I can see how this calculator would work well if you're working on water, because it's flat and you can't really map it. You can't say, well, this wave is 10 miles away and that wave is 20 miles away. But we can with mountains. So this down here on the curve would be our camera observation. Somewhere in the middle here, whatever, we got a ridge or another mountain to be our B point, and then our C point would be our target, whatever we're looking at in the distance. In this case, we're looking 76 miles. So we're getting that kind of drop hidden, 3,800 feet. So, but it doesn't look like that, does it? It kind of looks more like this dotted line. Everything's nice and straight line. We're here, camera, we got something in the middle here, right along with it, and then our target out here. So where is the bulge? Where is the curve? So as you can see, what the curve calculator was, I mean, we're trying to debunk that, the curve, so what do we care about a calculator? We're kind of reverse engineering this whole thing. Dun, dun, makes sense? I think it makes sense. Makes sense to me. Let's see, let's move on here. Yeah, so we can go back, I'll run over here real quick. This is the San Juans looking back towards Snowmass. This was an aerial shot I found. This ridge line is, so we're up here taking our picture back this way to the left, following that distinctive ridge line. That was easy to see on the, like the picture on Google Earth, it's like exactly the same, like the same lighting and snow and everything. So it's like pretty easy to get it right. But this is an aerial photograph. We're up above here, obviously, and we're seeing the San Juans way out here. That's 80, 90 miles over all these peaks. But the whole point of this was to get pictures from people on the ground. So that's Uncompadre, kind of way back in there. So anyway, this is this photo from a hiker taking from that peak back towards Beckwith. And it hazes out, but anyway, Snowmass is over here somewhere. Whoop. This to here, to this point. This is looking in a different direction. Okay, so we looked at those, right? Cool. So we go to Yale. Dun, dun, we're back here. This is Yale, Mount Yale. And we can go and actually stand on top of Mount Yale and look at Columbia and Harvard. These are the collegiate peaks. We're at 14,200 feet is the peak. Assuming he's taking a picture from very close to there. Pretty hardcore hikers and climbers, so why wouldn't you go all the way up? Nothing. It gets a little cloudy up in here, so we got Sherman and Bross at 36 miles. This little pointy guy's Bross, 36 miles away over this ridge, which is about 18, 20 miles away. Sherman's back here at 27 and a half. Gets kind of cloudy up there and stormy. We can look at Evans and Buffalo here. Excuse me. Evans is the highest peak, 14.4, 63 miles away, which is 2,646 feet of curve. Of drop, again, we're just from where we are to the top. 14 and a half miles to Buffalo Peak, which is like 13.5-ish. So it's lower elevation-wise than Mount Evans, and it also looks that way, even though there is, 40 miles of difference right there. 50 miles of difference in curve. So I thought that was a good perspective, even though this guy isn't, directly under here, but whichever. We're just looking at things. You can see the tree line's about 11,000 feet everywhere, because the trees just go so high and then they stop. So, makes a good reference point and a line you can see, and the tree line always rises as you go out. Yay! What else do we got over here? Okay, here we are at Eagle's Nest looking back. This is Snowmass over here. This is Mount Sopris. Remember I showed you that on Google Earth, I believe. 56 miles away. Snowmass, where we started over here. I don't know where this was taken exactly. He's on his way to the peak, looking back over this false peak, which is about just under 13,000. But it's really close. And I think the camera is lower than that peak and stuff. So anyway, not such a great, but this is Vail ski area. And Elbert, 45 miles away, and massive 40. Holy Cross is a great area back in here. Boy, you come up 70 and then go past Vale to Eagle, and then you just head back behind the Holy Cross and Grouse and all that. That's amazing, and this whole valley back here is awesome. Good camping back there. Sopris, 56 miles. So yeah, like I said, that's, I believe, Snowmass way back there. All right. So I just wanted to do this really quick. I wanted to get some pictures of people, you know, from the ground, where we could have a really good idea of where our height of the observer was, since that is kind of the big hole in that last video I did. But it's a pretty cool video. Check it out. I think some of these lines are pretty cool. Our ABCs here. So I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you subscribing if you did recently. I know I did that crazy video. I'll do some more interview videos. I'm trying to get some notes compiled. Do a better job. I appreciate all the comments and constructive criticisms. Hope you have a good day. I like this proof. It's way up high. We're off the water. There's no lensing. We're 14,000 feet. Looking over here to Mount Princeton, 51 miles away. A, B, C. Everything's lined up. And I think that pretty much shows it, right? I think so. And this, you know, line left to right, I mean, there is that whole, you know, especially if you're looking at water, that seeing a level horizon left to right doesn't prove anything. I mean, if we could wave a magic wand and make the world a ball, maybe this would look different. We would know, you know, it'd be more GoPro-ish. But we don't know that, because the world is not a ball. But I put this line up there just as a reference, but you know, in this situation, because of that whole, if you're standing on a ball and you look around 360 degrees, you see the same distance in all directions, so everything looks flat. That makes sense on the water. But here we know we're looking different distances. We're not looking the same different distance left to right. We're 59, 35, 76, 44, and everything in between. And it still looks pretty level with each other. So I don't know what that means. I'll let you hash that out. But I appreciate your time. Here, I'll give you a little GIF meme. I made a GIF meme that was kind of funny. From the Spaceballs GIF. Arguing with a ball head. Bam. It's flat. No. 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 Get over it. All right, folks. It kind of makes me laugh every time I watch it. I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know what you think. And have a great day. Oh, those Rocky Mountains of evidence. Peace.